Hi, today I want to show you how you can create um, simple database with Free Pascal and Lazarus. For this, I will use the SQLite database solution because this is one of the easiest solution. You don't need a backend server for this. You can just simply rely on uh, files which you store on your computer, and you can use them as SQL database, so you can basically create, uh, select or update fields and data rows just as you can do on any other SQL servers. So let's start from the beginning. You have your project, and you need to add the data controls to it. For this, of course, you need to add to the Lazarus a package which will handle the SQLite databases, and this one is the SQLite 3 Lazarus data or package, and this one you need to add to your IDE, otherwise you can't use the SQLite option. Um, it it is necessary to mention here that when you add the SQLite database to your IDE, you might run into an issue, and typically this is happening on Mac OS or Linux. Um, Here you need to make sure that the SQLite binary files are already included on a system level. So if you want to use it in the IDE, you need to download it into your OS system, and then you will be able um, to integrate it into the IDE, and at the end you can also um, generate your binary file for the application, and then you can use the system. So this is something which is outside of the Lazarus IDE, but it is necessary to be able to run this feature. So once it is added, and you already have it in your system, then you can find the data solution or a database, let's say linker objects in the tabs of the IDE. And here three important place we have. One is the data controls. So these controls here, which you can use together with your database, and whenever you move inside the database rows, these um, uh, let's say objects can hold the database objects or fields just as you step from one data row to another. The second one is the data access. So basically here you have, as you can see, many options. So you can have uh, CSV file as a database, a JSON file, DBF file or memory file, and here you also have the SQLite connection or dataset solution, what you can use. And the third one is the SQL DB objects, where you have basically the different um, let's say server objects like MS, so Microsoft server. Then you have the Postgres server, Oracle server, and then here you have the MySQL. And if you install the SQLite 3 package, then you also have the TSQLite connection. Actually, this one you don't really need to use if you want to run the application with the with the SQLite database, you only need the data access and the data controls. So let's start from the beginning. So we want to have an SQLite database connected or used in our application. So we select the SQLite database or dataset object, and we place one here on the on the form. And as you can see, we already have it here in the properties field with the SQLite database. We can already name this thing, so we basically need to set it up. The first thing is that we need to have a file name for this application. I already tested this, so I already have this application or file inside this. So I deleted the file to show you how you can set it up correctly and how you can start to run it. So when you, of course, when you create your application, you don't have the file itself. So let's define the file itself, and let's call it data SQLite file. Then we also need to name the data set. So let's say this will be the user data, and because we will create here a user data file with the user ID and the username. So this will be what we will use. So we have the data source name. This will be used later on in the application. And then we need to have a table name. So let's say this will be the users table. So this really is important to have set up at the beginning. And then once we have the file ready, we could be able to activate it. But if we want to run the application, this will run into a failure, as you can see, because we don't have the database. Okay, so let's click it at first active false. So this will be not active from the beginning. And then what we also need to do is that we need to define the field names, and this we can define on different ways. So we have here the field definitions. As you can see, we don't have any defined items so far. But we also have here the field def. So if we just use this, and if you click twice on it, you get this table editor. And here you can define the fields. So the first field, let's say this will be the user ID. And then you can add here the type of this field. And as you can see, we have just few options here. So let's say we are creating an auto increment field. And then we also add another one, a username. And this will be string, just as it is mentioned here. We need to have an enter here to get it done. And then we can also create the table. So once we click on the create table, as you can see, table created successfully. So once we are we created the database, we already have this data SQLite in the directory, so we can start to use it. So here, so far you can't see, but if we come here and we refresh it, basically the data set, you can see that the two field definitions already appearing here. So if we come here, this is the other version how you can create this, but if you just define the field definitions, then you will not be able to create the file itself here. But I will show you how you can create it programmatically if you want to have it like this. So if you start with the field definition just like this, and you use the add function, you can see that the field definition property is already appearing here. And here you can define a little bit more than in the table in the data set data table creation dialog, because here you can also add. So if you put here a string, and as you can see, you have more options here. Maybe not all the options are let's say supported by the database itself, because this field definition, so this T field is not just used for the SQLite database, but also can be used for the MySQL databases or MSSQL databases, which have maybe more different data types or field types. And then if you define it here wrongly, then you will not be able to use the application will run into an error, and then you need to change the data type. So maybe it's easier to create it with this table creation dialog in the T SQLite 3 dataset field, let's say. But if you do it here, you can also define the size of this text field, for example. But okay, we don't need this field, so let's delete it and close this. So now I tell you how you can create the file itself if you don't have it. So let's delete it again just to show you that it is created also when uh, we will do it programmatically. So let's put it here on the form activate procedure, and here we define a file handle. So let's say this will be the DB file, and this will be a T handle. So this will be a file handle um, variable, and let's try to uh, to to open a file. So this will be file open, and then we just open the open the file inside the folder where the application is located. So we don't add the location of the file, just the file name. And then the mode can be open or open read write. Now we just can, let's say, open read write. And then we need to check if we were able to open this file. If we didn't, or we don't have the file, then the value for the DB file will be -1, so this handle will not be available. And in this case, we can create the file. So DB file create, and then we just create the file, and we don't need to do any. And then we need to close it if we want to use it for the data set. Then we need to close it. So file close, and then we just simply close with the handle. So once we close the file, we already have the file itself created, but we don't have it really as an SQLite file. We don't have the fields and the fields created, so the table is not created. So we need to create the data setup as well in the file, and then we can use it on a way that we need to check if the user data and table exists function. We need to check if the users table is existing, actually we should check if it is not existing, because in this case we will create uh, create table, and then we say users. And actually this will use the table definition what we or field definition what we made here, and we'll create the database with these fields. So if you want to create more tables, then with this data set object you can do it. You need to define as many objects as you as many tables you want, and then you can create the table. Actually forgot to add this is a string, so we need to create the users table, and once it is created, then we can start to use the the table. Just simply set the active option to true. Okay, so let's save the file and test run it. So just to go back here, we don't have the SQLite data set. Here we can go through the file step by step if you want. So let's come here. Okay, so we are at this line. So let's go through. Okay, we can check the DB file here. If we got a -1, and yes, we got a -1 because we don't have the file in its place, and then we can create the file itself. Hopefully it's already created. Yes, and as you can see, 0 bytes, so it's currently empty. And then we close it, and then we check if the users table existing in the file. And as you can see, it does not exist because we got to this point. So now we create it, and if we go back again, okay, let's see. Okay, so we were running into an issue because I forgot to store the definitions um, of the fields, and when I was running the application first time, it was not taking the field definition. So this one is also important to keep the field definitions from design time or development time to runtime. You need to also store the definitions themselves. So now let's go back again. Here, delete the file just to show that now it works properly. So then, okay, we are again at the file itself. Okay, we don't have the file. We created the file, close the file, table. Okay, you can see that currently it's 0. Let's go to the next step. So we created the users directory, and now you can see that we have 8.2 kilobytes already defined. So the SQLite database is properly set up, and then we can make it active. So currently, as you can see, that once we make it active, there's no failure message anymore. So the application is running. Of course, we can't see anything here at the moment. Okay, let's continue by adding let's say, the control elements, and for that we need to have the data controls. Sorry, at first the data access and this data source object defined, because this will help the usage of the data control. So we need to add this data source, and let's call it user. Let's call it user source. Okay. Okay, we named it, and the data set itself should be the user data. So we will take the user data data set, and we will basically use it as a data source for the application. And here we have two things, the enabled and the auto edit options. So you will see how this can be used in the application later on. So once this is set up, of course we still don't have anything here, and we can set up our application with the controls what we need. So let's do it at first that we defined a user ID. So just should find a caption. Yes. So this will be the user ID. Okay. And we also put here a username. Oops. The U disappeared. Okay. So let's place them on a way that we can link them to each other, and then we can add the data controls behind. So so one will be just a simple label. So this one will be a DB text, and here we need to set up basically what will be the source for it. So as you can see, here we have a data source and the data field. So once we use the data or the user source, so this data source object, then we can use the data field. So this will tell to the object that which data to be linked to this object or to this text. Then the second one, we will use an edit field. So this will be a DB edit. Let's make it a bit bigger. And here we also name this because we will use this as it is not an auto increment option. So here we also need to add the data source and the data field itself, and let's name it. So it will not be DB edit, but will be DB username. Okay. And to be able to see how we are moving between the different fields, just for a control purpose, let's add here a DB grid. Let's make it a bit bigger, and then the data source will be the source. And here we don't have the fields, of course, just we can define the columns. So the title itself, and we should be able to fill the name. And here we add the user ID, caption. Okay, so we will say ID. Okay, and then we also add the username. So this will be the username, the second column, and here name, just use name just to show that it works. Okay, so these are just the fields. So we gave the fields to the grid itself, but we don't have right now anything which help us to move between the rows, the data rows, and for that we have here a navigator object. If we add this navigator object, we have several options, as you can see. And let's make it then a bit nicer that we don't use too much space here. So you can see that we have several elements inside the navigator, and we don't need to do anything else because all these will be linked to the data set. So basically, if you use a navigator, then the navigator will use the data source. And once you step from one row to another, the data source will be moving the cursor inside the database, and then also the different um, let's say elements will be stepping from one to another. Okay, so let's define here the data source again, and this will be again the user source. Okay, so now we should be able to run the application, and we should see the database itself. Now I click out this breakpoint, and when we run the application, it should appear. Of course, the database is so far empty, so you can see that nothing is inside. So let's add one field into it, and let's say Bob. Let's say the first user will be Bob. And as you can see, because we were using the auto edit option for the user source data set, when I'm typing in the first data, then this will appear. Of course, as you can see, we did not commit yet this change, so we just typed it into the field. So we need to commit it, and you can do it programmatically, that you basically update the data row which is already entered into the file, or you can do it from this navigator let's say function. And here you have this post function. Of course, you have a cancel one, you also have a refresh one here, and if you confirm it, you can see that it's already appearing in the first field. And you have you can move between the fields if you have more, but of course now you only have one. And as you can see, you can't jump to a new one. Now if you add an additional uh, um, uh, um, an additional row, then this will already use this data field here. So as you can see that it's already appearing in the second line with the name. But if I'm changing the name to Jim and stepping out from the field, then it's already showing it here. And when I confirm it, then this will be already let's say set. And if we are moving between the fields, you can see that that these are clean. So how you can basically fix this problem, that when you jump to a new row, or you want to create a new row, but you want to have this row empty, you can do it very easily. So to make this data field empty when we are going into a new record, we can set up the user new record procedure for the user data, or this TSQL3 dataset event. So when we are clicking on the new record, or inserting a new record, we need to delete basically the content of the data field itself. So we can do this with the db username field, and here we need to change the field property. And within the field property, we need to change the text to an empty text. Otherwise, it will take basically the previous field value what we entered. So once we are running this, and here you can see something weird again, because once we were running the application, and we added rows to the database, the database itself was not saved. So to do this, or to make sure that that your data is is saved, you need to update the database itself when you are closing the form or you are stepping out, or at a place where you think that it's not necessary to physically save the data. Otherwise, it will be just be in the memory until you do this. So let's go back again. So let's type in the Bob. We click on it and then we add the new field, and as you can see now the field is empty, and we can enter the new data, and we can also save it. So save again, I said that save it, but we were just saving it in here in the form. But once we close it and we rerun it, again the database is empty. So how you can save this? Of course, you can do it, as I said, in different places, but let's say we put it in the onClose um, uh, procedure. So under the onClose, we will save the data into the field. Okay, let's see how we can do that. Easy, we just need to say user data and apply updates. So once you use this apply updates, the data will be saved into the database physically. So let's run again the application. It's empty. We say Bob. We add the field. We say Jim. Save the field. Let's add the third one, Jane. Okay. So once we close the form, the apply updates were done, if we are lucky, of course. And here it is. And as you can see, we had again something interesting here. So now you can see that the fields were or the fields are let's say in sequence. So the ID one is coming the first, second, and third are under each other. And if we add the new one, uh, and this is what is weird inside this actually the fourth one is also at the wrong place. So let's add the fourth one, and then let's say this will be Dick. And once we are stepping between the fields, you can see that we are just going through like this. So the 3 is the last one, and the 4 is the first one. So this is again something what we can change. And here the thing what is changing that is that we are not just using the table name here, or we are not using the table name here, but we overwrite it with an SQL statement. So if we put here the statement select star from users order by. Once you set up the SQL statement, you can start to use it. So the data will be in the right order, or you can also set the order to the user name, and then you can sort it by that. But what is interesting is that of course if you would like to see it immediately when you are running the application, then you need to further manipulate a little bit these options. So these are not let's say set up on a way that these are automatically helping you to create your application on a simple way, because you might have different let's say solutions or different needs, and basically it gives you the option that you can do it by yourself. So what we can do it to get this SQL statement really working, that we need to refetch the data. So we need to reload the data. We need to get it refreshed after we inserted something inside the database. So how we can do this? That at first we should, of course, we should save the data. So we should not just rely on the form close function, because uh, then we basically losing the data what we entered when we are refetching the data, because these are not saved yet. So this we can do very easily. So under the user data, the data set itself, we have this function, or we have this property that save on refetch. So basically, if you click it to true, whenever you reload the data, the or before you reload the data, the data itself will be saved. So every time you want to reload it, then this will be done. But this refetch will not run automatically. So if you want to do it, because here if we just run the application like this, and we add another field here, I don't know, say Joan, and we just save it. Actually, nothing happened because we didn't add anything to the post function. But if we close the application and we run it again, this will be saved, but we couldn't see anything basically. So um, because we just saved the element when we were closing the file. So let's delete some records. We have too many. Okay, so and then let's close the application for a while. So now we have this save on refetch, and then at the events after the posting the change, we should refetch the data, and also together with the refetch we are making the save as well. So let's do here the user data, and then do the refetch data. And once we make this, so let's add the new field. As you can see, it's appearing at the top, but we don't care really about this right now. Let's add again Joan, and let's save it. And when we post it now, the after post function will make the refetch, and will make the ordering as well. So as you can see, that with the refetch we got the right order in the grid. However, we are at the wrong position. So basically, if we would like to be at the position 6, so at the last entry, we should also put an um, extra line here, which is basically going to the last updated row of the database. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show today. So this basically tells you how you can define your database, how you can add your fields, and how you can update the data set itself. Of course, the solution is more difficult if you are using with several tables, and you have linked tables. So you have one master table, and another one where you are where you are storing the related information to the master table. Of course, there you need to do this kind of manipulation on a different way. But of course, you can do that by having more data sets defined for the forms, and even with the SQL data, you can or SQL. Um, um, statements, you can define what you want to see on the form and how you want to manipulate the data what you are using. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Later on, we might go into more details of the data manipulation and how you can work with link tables and relational databases. So thanks for watching, and if you like the tutorial, don't forget to subscribe for the next one. See you and goodbye.